Hello everyone, this is a position from the Norway Chess 2026 where Carlsen Magnus was playing white against Pragg playing black. So what makes this position interesting is that with black to play, Pragg made the move Queen C3 check, and here Magnus Carlsen blundered, and after this blunder he could not recover. The best move here for white was King E2, and in this position Magnus could have still held the position, maintaining drawing chances. Probably the game would have ended in a draw. Even though Pragg is a pawn up, the position is still, his king is compromised. Carlsen can easily find a draw through continuous checks with the queen and threats on the pawns and all that. But instead, he played Magnus played the move King F4, and after this move, mate is inevitable. So what I would just say at this point, I feel Magnus was not playing at his topmost form because he should have seen this. So let's see how the game continued. Pragg checked, and after King F3, there was another check. The king cannot go back to F4 now because of a checkmate here. So the king went down, and then after Pragg checks, Magnus resigned because it's still a mate irrespective of what he does. If the king goes back up this time, bishop checkmate. And if the king goes here, there's a bishop check, and after the king moves to G1 only move, there's queen check, and after the king moves to H2, there's a queen check, and after the king moves to H3, there's checkmate, right? Okay, you might say, what if the king went here after the check? There's a bishop check, and if the king goes to H3, there's checkmate. Even if the king goes to H2, there's still checkmate. So this was quite an interesting game, and because I had been wondering why is Magnus Carlsen just losing games. So I see that he played well, but some critical point, there were these mistakes that were made and he didn't recover from them. So this is quite an interesting game. Some lessons to learn here. How in positions that are open, you should not overlook simple moves and rather play the right thing. Because here, if Magnus had played this, it would have been very difficult for Pragg to continue. If, for example, queen check, the king just moves away. Check, the king moves, and with the bishop on white bishop on b3 defending the c2 square, it's very hard for black to make meaningful progress. White's position, his pieces are solidly defended. If black tries move like pawn push, black just checks, and then notice how this pawn would be in danger. Check. If the king goes back up, check, check. The king goes here, there's a check, check. How does how does black get out of the checks? If black, for example, blocks with the queen, there's a check. So you can see it's there will just be checks all over the board, and it will be hard for black to progress. So if you've enjoyed this game, remember to like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you.